It's time for EdTech Mondays, brought to you by Mastercard Foundation and CC Hub.
Beyond pilots lie one of the biggest challenges in EdTech adoption, transitioning from small-scale tests to widespread adoption across government schools. For many local startups, navigating government systems can be daunting, filled with documentation requirements, operational constraints, budget limitations, and lengthy approval timelines. As we move to the third episode of our series on government's role in accelerating local EdTech adoption, we focus on the practical realities of piloting EdTech solutions in government schools, drawing on the experiences of EduTAMS and AI Teacha when dealing with government for the adoption of their innovation. From the government representatives we have in the studio, we'll also examine insights into adoption pathways that can enable these pilots to scale, highlighting what worked, what slowed progress, and what steps are critical for long-term success. By the end of this conversation, you'll gain a clearer understanding of the realities of working with public sector education systems, actionable lessons for scaling pilots, and practical guidance on navigating adoption pathways that support EdTech implementation. Our last two episodes have been really great conversations and insights about critical elements to pay attention to in government's role in accelerating widespread EdTech adoption. And I'm so excited to go into today's conversation. And I still have my four guests with me to continue this conversation and to shed even more light on their journey, especially around implementation and lessons for both government stakeholders and EdTech innovators looking to work with government. Still with me on this third episode, we have Emmanuel Akman, the co-founder of AI Teacha, Ogbuke Njideka Dorothy, the Director, School Support Division, Education Support Services Department at the Federal Ministry of Education, Dr. Ademola Adenubi, the founder of EduTAMS, and Mr. Wasiu Adewale Olabode, the Director of Education in the Department of Educational Planning, Research and Statistics. Welcome again to the show.
Madam Njideka, I'll start with you on this question, which is, at this point, on the government side, we've identified what the challenges and issues were. We've decided that we're going to work with AI Teacher, we're going to work with EduTAMS, and then, we've gotten buy-in from all of the critical stakeholders on both sides. Now we have to roll out these solutions to actually start to see if it's going to create, the results that we believe it will create. So, Madam Njideka, from your perspective, can you share with us how did you go about the decision of deciding, for instance, what schools to roll out in, how the rollout will happen, and what were some success metrics that, was set from a government perspective to say, for this initial rollout, these are the things we're going to do, and these are our targets, the kind of results that we want to see by rolling out the solution?
Well, first of all, look at how the approval for this rollout happened. First, we are not tech experts, but we have an ICT department in the Federal Ministry of Education that oversees every intervention that has to do with ICT and technology. We also have a science and technology department. So we have so many departments that interface with each other, and each department have their mandates. So when this AI teacher training came on board, the permanent secretary in his wisdom asked that we engage the ICT department to look into it. And so we had a demonstration session where they made their inputs and ensured that whatever training we're going to have will align with the ministry's mandate, with what the ministry policy says. So having got that straightened out, we're able to get the approval to have a rollout in the schools, in the Federal Unity Colleges. And as you are aware, the Federal Unity Colleges are under the Federal Ministry of Education, and whatever directives come from the ministry still trickles down to the Unity Colleges, and they abide by it. So it wasn't a problem. Once the approval was given from the ministry, from the permanent secretary, the school administrators will definitely have to comply with it. Now, having said that, with the implementation in the schools, with the trainings happening, at the end of the trainings, definitely we're going to have a holistic report that gives the assessment of the training and its impact on the teachers. It is from these assessments that we will now say, okay, having done this, having achieved this much, we believe that the impact of the training is what cascading to maybe other colleges. So from our end, it is to continue to engage with our ICT department to ensure that whatever it is that is being done is in line with the ministry's policy, and it speaks to the ministry's mandates in terms of student engagement, in terms of learning outcomes. So I don't know if there's an aspect of the question that I've missed out.
Thank you so much. And you highlighted, in terms of the learning engagement and student learning outcomes, because those are very critical metrics that introduction of this solution would have to touch on, for the ministry to believe that this is very important. And thank you so much for sharing that. Mr. Adewale, I will come to you from your perspective. Of course, I do not believe that the moment EduTAMS, the ministry got approval for EduTAMS, it was rolled out to every single school in Ogun State. I'm sure we had to start with a few schools. So from your perspective, how did you decide on, what schools you were going to start with, and what were the initial success metrics that you were looking at from the government end?
Well, to start with, the pilot implementation of EduTAMS in Ogun State initiated through a structured and collaborative process, which was led by the ministry in partnership with other agencies like our TESCOM, Teaching Service Commission, and SUBEB, State Universal Basic Education Board. What we did was that the selection was based on schools were selected across different senatorial districts and were broken down into local government areas, taking into consideration urban, semi-urban, and rural context within the state. Also, we had a mixture of primary and secondary schools added up so that we can have a robust pilot schools for the deployment and the experimental basis of the technology that is being deployed.
EduTAMS has a range of 3 products helping to digitize education processes and enhancing its delivery across different sectors. We have the EduTAMS Basic, the all-in-one cloud platform designed for private K-12 schools, helping to digitize and automate admission processes, online fee collection, LMS platform allowing teachers to share lesson notes, CBT-based assessment, down to automated result processing, allowing parents to assess learners' results. We also have the EduTAMS Essential, designed for government to manage its public schools from enrollment, access to standardized lesson notes, automated result processing, unified examinations, revenue collections, down to real-time access to data for informed policy formulation. EduTAMS Essential streamlines every aspect of managing education delivery in public K-12 schools. For higher education institutions, we have the EduTAMS Pro, offering a scalable platform for digitizing key administrative and academic activities in the universities, polytechnics and colleges of education, from admission processes, O-level result verification, fee collections, LMS platform for sharing lecture notes, to result and transcript generation, and many more.
Today's discussion highlights that piloting EdTech in government schools is about more than technology. It's about navigating systems, building trust. We heard a lot about trust, and adapting solutions to real-world classroom realities. Also very, very important. We heard a lot about that. From the experiences of EduTAMS and AI Teacha, we've seen how operational challenges, approval processes, and institutional readiness can either accelerate or slow adoption. At the same time, these pilots provide invaluable lessons for designing solutions that are practical, scalable, and aligned with government priorities. They mentioned very importantly about building trust, about driving ownership from the government perspective, about preparing to ensure that your processes, approaches, and even your solution are flexible enough to cater to the on-ground realities of working in public schools. They also talked very critically about skill, and that skill brings with it a number of its own challenges, but opportunities to ensure that you're designing with realities in mind and meeting the needs of teachers and learners across public schools in the country. As we wrap up, we want to hear from you, our listeners. If you were guiding an EdTech startup working with public schools, what would be the most important factor to focus on? Reducing operational challenges or measuring impact effectively? Share your thoughts with us in the comments, on social media, or through our direct message channels via SMS or WhatsApp at 0703 165 0809 or call on 0706 402 0742. Remember, you can continue this discussion on our WhatsApp and Telegram channels, EdTech Mondays Nigeria. And don't forget, past episodes are always available on Spotify, EdTech Mondays Nigeria, and YouTube, CC Hub Africa. Your feedback will help shape the conversations and host the policy dialogues we advocate for. Until next time, bye for now.
Tech Mondays, brought to you by MasterCard Foundation and CC Hub.